happy Sunday. This is your week ahead reading for the week of September 8th through the 14th, 2025. Let's get into it. Astrology-wise, there's not a whole lot going on. I mean, we're still in the wake of the Pisces full moon that's happening today when I'm recording this at 2:08 p.m. on September 7th. This is an energy that I feel like we're going to be in the wake of for the next 2 weeks until we come up to the new moon in Virgo, which is around the equinox on September 21st. So until then, we're kind of in the wake of this. I'm just getting the image in my mind of us being in this boat and weathering a storm. Does that visualization resonate with you at all? Because that's what it feels like, the energy that we're in right now. Until then, the only two astrological movements in the sky that's happening, the moon is always moving through the chart as it does. But on Thursday, the 11th of September, Mercury is going to be on the south node, which means it's opposing the north node. What do I feel like is the message of that? When I tapped into this energy earlier, I heard lost in translation, like an important email or something gone. I'm also, again, if we're sticking with this like boat theme, the wind being taken out of your sails. And what that makes me think of the way we're moving towards something, like all of a sudden we're in this pause, and that is this Mercury in the south node energy. So 2 days later on the 13th, on Saturday, the sun is on the Mercury. So Mercury and the sun are together in the sky. And perhaps this is where we have clarity of the lost in translation, or we get clarity around how to move forward. And again, I've been saying this over and over again in my videos that right now we're just observing, we're not taking action, but perhaps this is the week where you start to see something from a different perspective. And maybe you start to realize your humanness. What do I mean by that? I think that Virgo brings up the side of us that wants perfection and wants things done our way and wants it done correctly. And that might not resonate for everyone, but we know someone in our lives that is like that. And I feel like the sun on Mercury on the 13th this week talks about us getting clarity or understanding that perfection is the enemy of productivity. And not that we have to be productive, but we're moving towards something, aren't we? Like that's part of our purpose. And perhaps we start to get clarity on, or like the storm, again, let's follow the same like boat metaphor. The storm breaks and all of a sudden we can see through the fog. And we're not necessarily moving forward in that fog, but we at least can see our way forward and can start to like plan out or map how we're going to do that. And I think the movement will actually come in October after we've gotten through eclipse season, which is intense. I'm getting a lot of messaging around that. So I did pull some cards. This week we're using the Somnia Tarot and the Death Doula Oracle. Very interesting decks for us to be working with this week, but Spirit has guided me to do so. And the energy of this week is all pentacles, which is wild, in my opinion, because it makes me think about us being focused on our material worlds and our material lives, which is really interesting because the message of the week that I pulled, I asked Mercury to give us a message, and one of the messages he shared was formlessness, which goes so against, in my opinion, the like pentacles nature of life, which is that which is tangible, the material items in our life. So let's look at the cards. We have the Page of Coins. We have the Ace of Coins in reverse. And we have the Five of Coins in reverse. Oops. And I always offer these forward as a way for you to be able to see if anything comes forward to you. So yeah, I'm curious if anything comes forward. Leave a comment. So first we're starting with this energy of Page of Coins. And again, this reminds me of this clarity that we might get. Like we've unearthed something, we've dug something up, this like relic, this gift of some kind. And this person looks sweaty and they're dirty. And this makes me think of all the like the stuff that we've been enduring the last couple weeks, specifically the last couple weeks. And then all of a sudden we're offered this clarity, this gift of some kind. And look how delicately he's holding it. And he's observing it. He's not doing anything with it. He's just looking at it. So we're kind of, what does that mean, I guess, like in our lives? It makes me think about, again, clarity that we might come to this week, and a reminder to maybe not do anything, just like hold it for now. That's really coming in pretty strongly. With the Ace of Coins and the and the Five of Coins in the reverse, this makes me think of perhaps a releasing of what you were expecting to get out of something, or expecting or releasing expectations you had around your own achievement. I'm also looking around. This is really interesting. And we're in Virgo season, and Virgo talks about having discernment. And the reason why I say that is in this card, like in the foreground, there's tons of like gold coins that would have had to have been like excavated to find this gift that's come forward out of like seemingly thin air. And that perhaps this week we were navigating energy around, or in the last couple of weeks, we've been navigating like discernment about like what is fool's gold and what is real. And that we're being asked to persist over and over again to get to what we actually want, and not accepting any less than that. The Five of Coins talks about the exhaustion that we might be experiencing. In the upright, when I see Five of Coins, I think about us feeling like an outsider. In this direction, it makes me feel like the ways that we want to pull back our energy at this time, because we're fucking exhausted, you know? I am getting a sense that we're like crawling out of this hole of some kind. And this week you might be feeling that, but you're beat up. Remember that, like, in order for this to have come through, look at, like, he's sweaty and we still have the same character. Something I'm drawn to in these cards as well is in both the Page of Coins and the Ace of Coins. It feels like whoever is holding this coin is very delicate. It knows not to hold on too tightly to something. How does that resonate for you? What are you being asked to not hold too tightly to? I feel like it relates to the reality that you're living right now. How can you release this version of you that is ready to fall away at this time? The last couple of weeks, we've been pulling the Death card, and that's been talking a lot about that, which is falling away. And thank goodness we don't have death this week, but we have this invitation to accept this version of you that wants to emerge at this time. You know, you've been doing the work. And you might be feeling like really disconnected from your work right now, but I think you're just in a lot of healing. You've been doing a lot of healing. And it's just on a level that maybe we can't always comprehend in our like dense human forms. But that's changing. I did ask this week, Mercury, what message do you have for us? And Mercury said disruption. Disruption. Knowing that that is a signature of this week, how do we move forward? How do we accept that like disruption maybe is to help us understand like what is fool's gold, and like where we might be exhausted and need to wind down, where we might feel like an outsider to our experience, but the disruption coming in, showing us that there is a need to slow down in order for you to see more clearly, right? Remember that in the boat analogy, like right now we're just in the boat. We've weathered the storm and it's the fog is clearing, but if we move too quickly, or we move forward without giving ourselves the ability to see and feel clearly, you hit disruption. How do we work with this disruption? Formlessness. I'm going to read from the book for this because I feel called to. But intuitively, I'm just getting there is a need for us to dissolve. Like we were talking about earlier, dissolve the desire to have all of the things right now or to know right now. I just got an image of feeling crushed by systems that we live within. And I'm not just talking about like our political system. I'm talking about all sorts of systems that we live in, like even the self-made systems that we make for how we navigate our lives, like who does the chores, or the system in which you have a routine in your morning, or the system that you are operating on, like an old computer system, right? And I talked about this for the eclipse energy. It's time to reboot. It's okay that we're shutting down at this time. We need to do that in order to have a blank slate. I just heard pretty clearly, this reboot is coming. It's coming. So you could either choose to pull back your energy and navigate that the best way you know how in your space, or the shutdown will happen to you. And that looks like overwhelm. That looks like maybe showing up in ways that you're not proud of. How can you nip that in the bud, you know? Just going to read from the book for the formless card. And that again is the message of how we can work with this mercurial energy this week. Formlessness. Slow down. Patience in the moment. Stillness. This card asks the reader to allow simplicity to exist in their life. In the formless lies a deep sense of simplistic calm. A loud mind cannot hear the wisdom of the formless, but can be still, and it will fill your cup. Let yourself be still this week. Let me know how this resonates. Let me know how this shows up in your week this week. Remember to rest. It's so important right now to slow down. Can you do nothing for 5 minutes every day? Nothing. Not an intentional meditation, not on our phones, just nothing. Can you do nothing for 5 minutes? Maybe that's when we allow the formlessness into our lives. This is what I'm seeing for the week. Good luck, and I will see you on the other side.